Welcome to Pain in the Grass, the official Lawn Pride podcast, where we dig deep into the real problems hiding in your yard. From weeds to grubs to mystery brown spots, we've got the dirt. Let's grow better together.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're getting our hands dirty, metaphorically speaking. We're talking turf grass. You know, the difference between that sad, patchy lawn and, well, that perfect green carpet everyone wants. Our mission, to give you the inside track on the most critical factor, fescue seed grading. It's the shortcut, really.
It really is. And this stuff is gold if you're in the transition zone.
Yeah.
You know, that tricky belt across the U.S., places like the Carolinas, where you get those brittle summers, high humidity, but then real cold snaps too. It's tough on grass.
Right.
And that's why turf-type tall fescue is king there. Its roots go deep, way deeper than other cool season grasses. That helps it, survive the heat and drought much better.
Okay, but that's where I and probably a lot of listeners get stuck. You go to the store, see a wall of tall fescue bags, fancy pictures, different prices. How do you choose? People just grab the one with the nicest photo, I bet.
They absolutely do. And that's the trap. The marketing on the front. Mostly fluff. You could buy 2 bags, side by side, looking identical, plant them, and get totally different results. One's great, the other's a weed disaster waiting to happen.
A weed disaster?
Lovely. Exactly. The secret, the real info, isn't on the front. It's on that little tag, usually white or maybe colored, stuck on the back or bottom. It's legally required. Think of it as the seed's report card. It grades purity and performance.
Okay, the report card. Let's break it down. Forget the pretty pictures. What's the first thing I need to look for in this tag? What screams quality?
Right. First 2 numbers tell you what you're actually buying. Number 1, pure seed percentage. Simple concept. How much of this bag is the tall fescue seed you want and not something else?
Okay.
For good seed, you want that high, like 95% minimum. Ideally, aim for 98% or even higher if you can find it.
95 versus 98. That 3% doesn't sound huge. Is it worth paying more for that little bit?
Oh, absolutely. That missing 2 or 3%, that's filler. It's chaff, empty hulls, dust, stuff you're paying for that won't grow.
Yeah.
So yeah, higher purity means less money wasted on, well, junk. And that ties right into the second number.
Which is?
Germination rate. This tells you, out of that pure seed, what percentage you can actually expect to sprout and grow.
Okay. So even if it's 98% pure, not all of that seed will necessarily grow.
Exactly. Stuff happens. Some seeds just aren't viable. You want a high germination rate too, ideally 85% or more, for quality fescue. If you buy a bag that's, say, 70% germ, you're basically planning for failure right from the start.
Yeah, you'd get thin patches, have to reseed, costs more in the long run.
Precisely. You're just buying future work and expense.
Now, something you mentioned earlier, these numbers aren't static, right? Seed gets old, freshness matters.
Vitally important. Check the test date on that label. Seed viability drops over time, especially with heat and humidity. That germination percentage listed, it's only guaranteed, well, not guaranteed, but accurate for about 9 months to a year from that test date.
So that bargain bag from last season, sitting on the shelf, might be a dud.
Could be. Even if the label said 90% germ when it was tested 2 years ago, reality today might be 50% or less. Always check the date.
Yeah.
Recent is best.
Okay, so we want high purity, high germination, and fresh seed. That's the good stuff. Now, the bad stuff. Contaminants. You mentioned weeds. Let's talk weed seed percentage. This sounds like where cheap seed really bites you.
This is probably the single most important number separating good seed from garbage. You want this number to be 0.00%. Seriously.
For zero.
Or as close as you can possibly get. Less than 0.01% is acceptable in top-tier seed. People see a number like maybe 0.5% weed seed and think, oh, that's tiny.
Yeah, 0.5% sounds like nothing.
It's not nothing. Let's do the math quickly. A pound of fescue has, hundreds of thousands of seeds, easily. So you spread a typical 10-pound bag for overseeding. That 0.5% weed seed means you are personally scattering thousands of weed seeds across your lawn.
Wow. Okay, when you put it like that.
You're paying money to plant weeds you'll spend the next year trying to kill.
Actually did that once. Bought a cheap bag for a small patch repair. Thought I saved like $10. Spent ages the next spring pulling out this grassy weed, annual bluegrass, I think. It was everywhere. That saving cost me way more in time and frustration.
That's the classic story. And it's often not easy weeds. It's things like that annual bluegrass, Poa annua, or foxtail, crabgrass. These are aggressive grassy weeds that love the same conditions as your fescue, blend in at first, and are a real pain to control once established.
So, weed seed.
Yeah.
Aim for 0.
Got it. What else
Yeah.
could be lurking in there besides weeds? The label mentions other crop seed percentage. What's that?
Yeah, other crop. It's basically other types of grass seed that aren't the tall fescue you want. Think perennial ryegrass, maybe Kentucky bluegrass, sometimes even agricultural grasses. It's mostly an aesthetic issue, but it shows sloppy harvesting and processing. These other grasses will have different colors, textures, growth rates.
So you get weird-looking patches, like lighter green clumps or really fine-textured spots in your otherwise uniform fescue lawn. Exactly. It just looks messy, uneven, not what you're aiming for. And sometimes cheap mixes intentionally include stuff like annual ryegrass.
Why would they do that?
Because annual ryegrass pops up super fast, like in days. It gives you this quick green cover, makes you think the scene is amazing, but it's an annual. It dies off in the summer heat or with the first frost, leaving bare patches right when your fescue should be establishing. It's a gimmick.
Sneaky. So other crops should also be near 0, ideally.
As low as possible, yes. Less than 0.5% is okay, but premium seed will be much lower, often near 0.01% again.
Okay, one last category on the label, inert matter. If it's not pure seed, weeds, or other crop, this is just dust.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Dust, chaff, broken seeds, maybe dirt, or, importantly, seed coatings. A high inert percentage just means you're paying for weight that does nothing, but the coatings, that's a whole marketing angle we need to touch on.
Ah, yes, coatings. You see bags boasting about special coatings for moisture retention or faster germination. Sounds good, but you're saying it's a catch.
It can be. Those coatings add significant weight and bulk. Sometimes 30%, even 40%, or 50% of the bag's total weight is just the coating, not seed. So you grab a 10-pound bag thinking you've got loads of seed, but you might only have 6 or 7 pounds of actual seed. The rest is coating.
That drastically changes the value equation. How do you compare them? Is there a way to figure out the real amount of usable seed?
Yes. This is what the pros use. It's called pure live seed, or PLS. This calculation cuts through the coatings and everything else. PLS tells you the percentage of the bag's total weight that is actually viable seed capable of growing.
Pure live seed. Okay, how do we figure that out? Is the math complicated?
Not at all. Super simple. You just multiply the pure seed percentage by the germination percentage. So let's say bag A is 98% pure seed and 90% germination. You multiply 0.98 times 0.90.
Okay, 0.98 times 0.9, that's 0.882, so 88.2% PLS.
Exactly. Now compare that to bag B, the coated one. Maybe it's only 60% pure seed because 40% is coating, and let's say 85% germination, so 0.60 times 0.85.
0.6 times 0.85 is 0.51, only 51% PLS.
Big difference, right? Even if bag B costs less per pound on the shelf, you're getting way less working seed for your money. You'd need to buy almost twice as much of bag B to get the same lawn coverage as bag A.
That's huge. PLS is the real measure of value then. Cuts through the marketing hype.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Always think in terms of PLS if you can compare labels.
This naturally leads to another term we hear, certified seed. Often it comes with a blue tag. What does certified actually guarantee versus just, regular common seed?
Think of certified seed like getting a pedigreed dog versus a mutt from the shelter. Both can be great, but with the pedigree, you know the lineage and traits. Certified seed means it's been inspected and tested by an official state agency. They verify the variety, the purity, the germination claim. It guarantees genetic purity and traceability. Usually has that blue tag as proof.
And common seed.
Common seed, or sometimes variety not stated seed, hasn't gone through that rigorous certification. It could be anything. Might be older varieties, might have higher contaminants, might be a mix. You just don't know for sure.
So the benefit of certified is knowing exactly what you're planting. Consistency.
Exactly. Consistency in color, texture, growth habit, and performance. Especially things like drought tolerance or disease resistance. With common seed, it's more of a gamble.
Okay, you mentioned variety and genetics. That brings us to cultivars. I assume we're not just buying generic tall fescue with premium seed, right? There are specific types.
Absolutely. A cultivar is just a specific named variety that plant breeders have developed for better characteristics. Think of them like different breeds of apples. Honeycrisp versus Granny Smith, both apples, but different qualities. For fescue, breeders select for things like finer blades, darker green color, better shade tolerance, wear tolerance for foot traffic, and crucially, disease resistance.
Disease resistance, that's a big one for fescue, especially in humid areas, right? Brown patch fungus.
Brown patch is the absolute nemesis of tall fescue in places like the Southeast. Modern cultivars are specifically bred and tested for improved resistance to it and other common diseases. That's a massive advantage.
I see names thrown around by lawn pros. Titan RX, Rebel 4th, Falcon the 4th, Firebird, Titanium LS. Are these examples of those improved cultivars?
Yep, those are all well-known, high-performing, tall fescue cultivars. They represent years of research and development. They've proven themselves in trials. The label to run away from is the one that says variety not stated, or just VNS. That's a huge red flag. It means it's likely old, unimproved generic seed, a total mystery bag.
So, should you look for one specific cultivar name, or is a mix better?
Definitely a blend. The best practice, what pros use, is a blend of usually 3 to 5 different but complementary elite cultivars. This gives you genetic diversity. Think of it like diversifying your investments. If one cultivar happens to be a little weaker against a specific disease strain that pops up one year, the others in the blend compensate.
Safety in numbers makes sense.
It prevents a catastrophic failure. A good blend provides broader resistance and adaptability.
Okay, let's circle back to cost. High grade, certified seed with named cultivars in a blend. It is going to cost more per bag up front. What's the quick elevator pitch for why that higher price is actually cheaper in the long run? The ROI.
The ROI is crystal clear when you look beyond day one. One, you buy less actual weight to cover the same area because your PLS is higher, less waste. Two, you spend dramatically less time and money fighting weeds because you didn't plant them yourself. Huge savings on herbicides and labor. Three, superior genetics mean better natural resilience. These grasses often need less water once established and fight off diseases better, saving on fungicides and irrigation costs.
So less seed, less weeding, less water, less disease treatment. Sound like a solid investment.
It's paying for prevention and performance rather than paying to fix problems later.
And talking about performance, companies that do this professionally, like Lawn Pride of North Charlotte you mentioned, they obviously aren't using mystery seed. How do they know their chosen seed will perform well locally?
They rely on data, specifically data from NTEP trials. That's the National Turf Grass Evaluation Program. NTEP runs independent scientific trials at universities across the country, testing hundreds of cultivars side by side under local climate conditions, including stresses like heat, drought, disease pressure.
So they can see exactly how cultivar X performed in, say, North Carolina heat and humidity compared to cultivar Y.
Precisely. Reputable seed providers and lawn care companies use that NTEP data to select blends proven to thrive in your specific region. It removes the guesswork.
Okay, this has been super helpful. Let's distill it down. If someone's ready to buy seed, maybe this weekend, what's the must-do checklist? 4 key steps.
All right, the pro checklist. Number 1, read the tag relentlessly. Don't glance, read. Demand purity over 95%, germination over 85%, and weed seed near 0.00%.
Got it. Number 2.
Check the test date. Make sure it's recent within the last 9, maybe 12 months tops. Old seed loses punch.
Okay.
Look for certified seed or that blue tag. It's your assurance of quality control and genetic identity.
Makes sense. And finally, number 4.
Insist on named cultivars. Look for actual variety names listed. Avoid generic bags that say tall fescue mix or, the worst, variety not stated. Know what you're buying.
Perfect. Read the tag for high numbers and 0 weeds, check the date, look for certification, and get named varieties.
That's the formula.
So, wrapping up this deep dive, it seems the power is really in understanding that seed label, demanding quality there, high purity, high germination, almost no contaminants. That's the pivot point between fighting your lawn constantly and actually enjoying a resilient green space.
Absolutely. Premium seed isn't an expense, it's the foundation. Use PLS to compare value. Look for those certified, named cultivars tested for your area. You stop buying problems and start investing in success.
Excellent. And maybe one last thing for everyone to chew on. We talked about how named cultivars are bred for things like brown patch resistance. So consider this as simply choosing the right certified seed blend with those proven cultivars listed on the tag. Actually, the easiest, maybe even the first step you can take in disease prevention, maybe even before you reach for a fungicide. Something to think about.
Thank you for listening to the Pain in the Grass podcast, sponsored by Lawn Pride of North Charlotte, Huntersville, your go-to name in turf care for homeowners and businesses seeking beauty, quality, and reliability, powered by family and fueled by passion. Until next time, make sure to take care of that pain in the grass.